You ever wonder if the old patterns we use for stories, myths, legends, even big blockbuster movies, could actually be a map for the crazy, complex digital lives we're all living now?
So, that's what we're going to explore. We're going to follow the hero's journey of one technologist, a guy named Johnny Hartman, and see how his wild 4-decade career gives us a kind of blueprint for our own digital future. A future where all of us, together, are weaving this incredible digital canvas that lays right on top of our real lives.
All right, so every hero's journey has to start somewhere, right? In an ordinary world. And for our hero, that world was way back at the dawn of the personal computer and the internet.
Okay, so let's trace this path, because it's a fascinating one. It kicks off in the 80s with this really cool mix. A theater kid totally steeped in storytelling who is also the tech nerd taking computers apart back in '81. Then he jumps into the 90s with a career in the US Army and pivots right into the birth of the digital world, working on some of the very first beta tests for web servers. The 2000s? High-stakes Y2K consulting and a deep dive into this thing called transmedia. The 2010s were all about pushing the limits on the XR and AI frontiers, which, believe it or not, leads us right to today, building the medical metaverse.
And here's the thing, the call to adventure for him wasn't some single lightning bolt moment. It was more like this slow burn realization that all this new tech, it wasn't just for spreadsheets and databases. No way. It was a brand new stage, a whole new kind of canvas, a place where you could totally blow up the definition of what a story could be and how we experience it.
And that realization, that's what pushes our hero to cross the threshold. He leaves behind the old world of single-screen media and steps into the special world of stories that live on multiple platforms, stories that are interactive. In that world, it has a whole new set of rules.
The key to this new world is this idea called transmedia. Just think of it like a story that's so big, so epic, it can't be contained on just one screen. It breathes across movies and video games and virtual worlds, and each piece you experience adds a unique new layer to the whole puzzle. This idea, which was first really defined by a guy named Henry Jenkins, became the absolute foundation for everything that came next. And look, this wasn't just some dusty academic theory. This framework, these 6 keys, were developed and tested while teaching a master's course and then immediately put into practice in the real world. It actually became the basis for a playbook created with Intel's Media Lab to get their global marketing teams all telling one single cohesive story.
But, being the first one through the door is never easy, right? Every pioneer faces trials. And the biggest trial of all was trying to build the future when the technology was still playing catch-up with the vision.
And this just shows you the challenge perfectly. Back in the 2000s, building an experience for a client like HP in the virtual world Second Life, you couldn't just track where user was looking to see if they were paying attention. The tech wasn't there. So the team had to get creative, right? They tracked what the avatar was doing as a kind of clever stand-in for the user's focus. Now, flash forward to today. In a therapeutic VR app, we can use direct eye tracking as a precise medical-grade biomarker of a patient's brain function. I mean, that's an incredible leap in mastery, from a clever workaround to a clinical tool.
So after all those years of trials, the hero comes back with the prize, the boon. But in this story, it's not some magic sword. It's something way more powerful for the modern world. A rare ability to synthesize, to fuse deep technical knowledge with masterful storytelling. And this fusion, it creates absolutely stunning real-world results. By pioneering this entertainment-first model, basically turning what would have been marketing expenses into its own profitable intellectual property, this approach helped a retail partner bring in an extra $150 million in sales over just 3 years. That proves it, right? A great story, powered by the right tech, drives serious business. The end result is this just ridiculously diverse toolkit. I mean, we're talking about working on over 20 feature films, producing award-nominated TV shows, creating graphic novels that sell over 220,000 copies, and at the exact same time, building cutting-edge XR platforms for neurological assessment, pioneering AI and production pipelines, and designing interactive museum experiences. It's just an incredible range of work, spanning entertainment, big business, and even science. And this is where it all comes together. It's the final and most important act of the journey. This is where the hero takes that prize, that unique synthesis of skills, and uses it not for himself, but to serve a really profound collective need. And the whole thing pivoted because of a single, absolutely mind-bending question from a doctor. He just asked, how do you put somebody who just woke up from a coma in VR? That one question, it changed everything.
It pointed the entire journey towards its most personal and impactful mission yet: human wellness and healthcare.
And that question sparked the current chapter, a company called VizScore. This is where that synthesis of story and tech is being used to build tools that are literally revolutionizing how we measure human performance, wellness, and neurological care. It's the ultimate application of every single lesson learned along the way.
So the approach here is really smart. First, you bridge the gaps between all these different worlds: general wellness, clinical care, and pure research. Second, you use gamified tests in VR, which makes neurological assessment not only scalable, but actually engaging for the patient. And finally, you deliver objective, hard data that gives us incredible new insights into how our brains actually work.
So you see what's happened, right? A 4-decade personal journey through tech and story completely transforms into a contribution to our collective journey. It's all about using these incredibly powerful tools not to escape from reality, but to weave a digital canvas that actually enhances and augments our real-world lives for the better.
And that leaves all of us with one final big question. Because this digital canvas, it's being woven over all our lives by all of us every single day. As we become the architects of this new reality, the question isn't just, what are we going to build? It's what story are we, all of us together, going to choose to tell?